Crime and public safety is top of mind for many people in Western Washington. We all want to feel safe walking around our neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
Driving on freeways and even at home.
Joining us this morning to talk about crime trends is Jim Fuda with Crime Stoppers. Jim, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being with us. We just talked with Jeremy Harris, our KOMO reporter, moments ago about the arraignment of one of those self-proclaimed Kia boys. Talk about this rise in Kia and Hyundai thefts, and are we seeing any sort of improvements with tackling these?
Well, I listened to that as well just a few minutes ago, and Jeremy's right on with that. The Kia's thefts have gone up 1,000% in the last 3 years. So some of these cars need to be fixed. And what's happened is these kids have known that they can easily steal these cars, and like Jeremy said, goes right into other crimes. We've got we've got the drugs, the gangs, the road rage, the domestic violence stuff that all plays into how our homicides are even going up. But as far as the Kias are concerned, Jeremy's right. They go right back into other crimes. That's just the start of the crime is the theft, the property crime that leads into crimes against people.
Jim, another huge concern for people right now, including myself, freeway shootings. Over the weekend, we reported Washington State Patrol is investigating its 12th freeway shooting so far this year, and we're not even all the way through January yet. Can you give some insight on why these shootings happen so frequently and the challenges in solving these types of cases?
Yeah, a lot of that is road rage and lack of visible enforcement. I mean, well, let's face it, we are down a lot of police officers, and now that I'm really happy to see that in late 2023 is that the lawmakers have changed and lowered the threshold for officers to pursue, and hopefully some of this will start to go down. We get more cops visible on the streets, and maybe someone will say, geez, the last time I passed this area, there was a trooper there. Maybe I better pay better attention and not wave a gun out a window at somebody. So hopefully we can make some arrests in some of these and hold people accountable.
Yeah, we talked about also the work that's being done in Olympia right now, and now that the legislative session is in full swing. Any bills that you're closely following?
Yeah, it's definitely the one that I just mentioned with the pursuit.
Okay.
That I think is going to make a huge difference. We saw Jenny Durkin lower the speed limit to 25. That did absolutely nothing. And even with the lower speed limit, is that the accident rate is high. So it's not about the speed limit. It's about somebody being out there. It's the enforcement side of things. If you're not seeing officers making traffic stops, what do people have to fear? There's that feeling that I can get away with this. That goes to the Kia boys things as well, with the smash and grabs, with the strong arms robberies, the shock and awe ones that they've been doing as well. Is that the officers are not out there. They're responding to priority one details, and there's very few of them out there to be able to do on-view patrol work.
Jim, are you getting any sense on, whether there is a good chance that there could be some changes to the state's Pursue law? Are we going to see any sort of differences made this session?
I think that's just it. I think there is. They've changed it from probable cause to reasonable suspicion for crimes such as violent offenses, sex offenses, escape, DUI, vehicular assault, domestic violence. So if that is huge, that can stop a lot of crimes against people if they're allowed to go after people with reasonable suspicion to pursue. I think that's going to be huge.
Thank you so much, Jim, for joining us. That was really insightful, and it's got me thinking about a lot more now.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. And we do have to remember this, so that this is a 60-day session, so it's somewhat short, and obviously lawmakers are tackling a number of issues. I know that's one of the biggies, and that's been one of the concerns with so many law enforcement agencies across the state about that pursuit law and wanting to try to make some changes to it to make it easier for them to pursue suspects that commit crimes.
There's a lot on people's minds. I mean, we're community members. We live here in King County, and I mean, I'm certainly on edge about a lot of the crimes that we talked about today, the freeway shootings, even just like the random attacks that happen, whether it be shootings or, I don't know, you're hit with an object at a light rail station or something. I'm constantly just like head on a swivel. So there's a lot of crime trends. It's not a good thing.
No.
We'll have to see what happens in Olympia.
Yeah, for sure.